Good morning, students. Saira. Welcome back once again. How are you all? I hope you all are well and safe at your places. Children, in the previous video, we have started a new chapter and we have discussed how plants make food. Today also we will continue the same chapter. Before that, I will give you a quick recap what we have did in previous video. So children, in the previous video we have seen that the mostly all the plants are green in color. They are green because of chlorophyll. The leaves appear green due to the presence of chlorophyll. Then we have discussed about the parts of leaf. The flat surface of leaf is called leaf blade. You have seen in this picture the flat surface of leaf. Here you can see the flat surface of leaf is known as leaf blade. Then we have seen the leaves have each leaves have a main vein and side vein. This line is the main vein and this is the side vein which carry the water from stem. Stem carry the water from the roots and stem transfer the water in the leaf, and these veins which are present in the leaves distribute the water in the whole part of the leaves. Then we have seen the veins help in the transpiration of substance like water, mineral and prepared food. Then the lower surface of leaf has hole. The hole which are present at the lower surface is known as stomata, which are not visible by the naked eyes. Then we have seen this diagram of stomata. You can see at the back. It is a eye-like structure which is work as a gate which allow the entry and the exits of air. So this allow the entrance of carbon dioxide in and the exit of oxygen. You know that plant give out oxygen and take carbon dioxide. Then children, we have learned about the photosynthesis. So what is photosynthesis? Very good. It is a process by which leaves make their own food. Is known as photosynthesis. Then all the green plants make their own food with the help of chlorophyll in the present, which is present in the leaf. So chlorophyll is very important because it help in the process of photosynthesis. Then what other things are needed for the photosynthesis? Water from the soil, carbon dioxide from the air and sunlight which we get from the sun. Then children, we have seen the picture of photosynthesis, how a plant synthesizes its food. We have seen that by using the sunlight, a leaf of plant convert the carbon dioxide, water and in the presence of chlorophyll in the food, and the food which is prepared by the plant is known as sugar. So the food which is prepared by the process of photosynthesis is called sugar, is known as sugar. So this food is taken through the veins and the stem to all part of the plant. A part of food is changed into other substance and used up by the plant for growth, making flowers, fruits and vegetables, repairing damage. So this food which is prepared by the plant is used for its growth, making flowers, fruits and seeds, and repairing damage. The food which remain, which is not used by the plant, is stored as starch in root, in stems, leaves, fruits and in flower. So when we eat the different part of plants as root vegetables, stem vegetables, leaves and fruit, then we get the food which is prepared by the plant, which is stored as a starch and other substance. So we eat the sugar, starch and the other substance that plant make for themselves. So children, today we are going to learn how plants and animals are depend on each other. Children, today we are going to learn about a new topic. So for today our new topic is interdependence of plants and animal. So inter means here between, and dependence means how the two things are depend or they have a relationship between the thing. So interdependence means how two things are depend on each other for the thing. So today we will learn how plants and animals are depend on each other for the thing. So children, in the previous video you have learned that green plants are the food producer. Okay children, can you tell me the process by which a green plant synthesize their food or make their food? Very good. The process is known as photosynthesis. By a plant synthesize or produce food. And tell me the non-green plants, the plants which are non-green, why they are not able to synthesize or to make their own food, why they depend on other for their food? Very good. Due to the absence of chlorophyll, because chlorophyll is necessary for plants to make food. So the food which is made by the plant is used by the plant for their different activities, like for their growth, for making a flower, fruit, seeds and for repairing damage. The food which remains, that store in the form of starch in the different parts, and these food is used by the animals. So animals depend on these plants for food. Plants give out oxygen. Now you know that when you breathe you take in oxygen as a gas. So oxygen is very important for us to be alive. So this oxygen is produced by the plants, which is needed by animals to breathe. So in the return, when we take something, then we have to give also. So when we take oxygen or when animals take oxygen in the return they give out carbon dioxide, which is also known as CO2. So this carbon dioxide or CO2, which is needed by plants to produce food. In the previous video we have learned in the process of photosynthesis plants also take CO2 or carbon dioxide, which is also very important thing for synthesizing a food. In this diagram you have seen plant take sunlight from the sun, carbon dioxide, which is known as CO2, from the air. So these CO2 is very important for the process of photosynthesis. Children, you have already learned about food chain and also about the animals, which are divided into three categories according to their food habit. What are they? They are herbivores, the animals that eat plants, then carnivores, then animals which eat herbivores or other animals, and omnivores, the animals that eat both plants and animals. So children, all animals therefore depend on plants for food. How? Let's see through the diagram of food chain. You know that green plants are a producer which produce food. Only green plants can synthesize food by themselves. Then other are depend on each other and on plants for their food. So you can see the plants are the producer, then the primary consumer which eat plants which are known as herbivorous. You can see here the example of grasshopper, which is the herbivorous, which eat plants as their food. Then secondary consumer, here you can see the example of frog, which is carnivorous, which depend on other animals for their food. Then tertiary or third consumer, which eat here a frog which is eaten. Here you can see the frog is eaten by the third consumer. Then this tertiary consumer is eaten by the fourth consumer. And when fourth consumer, here you can see the example of eagle as a fourth consumer. When the fourth consumer die, then the body of a animal is decomposed by the decomposers. And what are the example of decomposers? Fungi, bacteria are the example of consumer which decompose the dead body of animals and mix the nutrition which is present in the soil, which is present in the body of an animal into a soil, and this nutrition then again taken by the plants. So this, it represents that all the animals are interdependent on each other, and it is also so that all the animals depend upon plants for food. How? If there is no plant, then grasshopper will not get its food, it will die. If it will die, then the second consumer will not get its food, so it will also die. So this represents that all the animals therefore depend on plants for their food. So a chain is exist in a nature for obtaining a food. So the interdependence of plants and animals in a food chain help to maintain a balance between the number of plants and animals. The balance in nature will be disturbed if the number of plants or animal increase or decrease greatly. So children, we should protect nature to make sure that the balance is not disturbed. So children, today we have learned about how plants and animals are depend on each other. So we have seen that plants produce food and oxygen which is taken by the animals, and in the return they produce carbon dioxide, which is very important for the photosynthesis. And the photosynthesis is the process by which plants synthesize their own food. Then we have learned that a chain is exist in a nature for obtaining a food. Then we have seen the example of food chain, and we have seen how plants and animals are depend on each other, and how all animals therefore depend on plants for food. So we have seen that in the food chain, plants are the producer which can only able to synthesize their own food by the process of photosynthesis, then this food is taken or eaten by the herbivorous, the animals which eat only plants, and these herbivorous animals are eaten by the other animals which are carnivorous or the omnivorous. Then this chain is flow from one consumer to second. So second consumer is eaten by the tertiary consumer, then the tertiary consumer is eaten by the fourth consumer, and when animal die, they are decomposed, their body are decomposed by the decomposers, and the example of decomposers are fungi, bacteria, which help to mix the nutrition which is present in the body of dead animal into a soil. Then this nutrition is taken by the plants. So it show that plants and animals are depend on each other, and how all the plants, all the animals are depend upon plants for their food. We have seen that if there is no green plants, then herbivorous will not get its food because they eat green plants, and green plants are only able to synthesize their own food. Then the herbivorous will be die. If there is no herbivorous, then the carnivores which eat herbivorous, they will not get their food. Then this will show that then the other consumer will also die. So it represents that all the animals therefore depend upon plants for food.